Now, last week, Mark, we talked about this new package of money that's going to go about domestic violence in New South Wales. We learned today, or at least I learned today, that one of the people who's going to be heading all of this up as sort of the new boss of dealing with domestic violence in New South Wales, the person who was the most recent boss of White Ribbon. Yes, the organisation that wasted all of that goodwill, all of that money, now in charge of taxpayers' money. New South Wales Attorney General Mark Speakman last week announced $21 million in funding to boost services like the women's refuges, also men's behavioural change programs and a pop-up safe house. Delia Donovan is the person who used to run White Ribbon, now working for the New South Wales Government. I feel that this is a real time of reform. As we come out of the lockdown, we have to acknowledge that things aren't okay, even though, of course, New South Wales police statistics say there's no change. But anyway, just because we're all back in the office, a few of us can go for a beer again. Two things here, Mark. Look, this was a CEO who entered an organisation that clearly was already deeply, deeply broken, but clearly was there in the final months of this particular thing. The idea of being able to walk out of the rubble of White Ribbon and straight into the taxpayer-funded office, to me, okay.
Well, you know, if you were there running White Ribbon and it went broke, you're probably eminently qualified in the eyes of the New South Wales Government to run the publicly funded agency, Domestic Violence NSW, because this too has been a public policy disaster and waste of money. We've spent billions as a nation on these domestic violence programs, re-educating schoolboys and all this sort of totalitarian approach. And it hasn't had any noticeable impact on anything. And why is that? As we've consistently said on your program, Paul, they've had the wrong approach. If you go into this thinking 100% of men are inherently bad and 100% risks of bashing their partners, that's Nick, that's me, that's you, that's every man in the country is at risk of domestic violence, well, you will waste a lot of money. Because the truth is 99% of men are protectors of their family. They'll take a bullet for their kids, correct, as I would, as you would, as Nick would. And the 1% problem needs to be targeted with programs, and most particularly jail time, to get these animals off the street. So, you know, if you've got the wrong theory and you've got billions to spend, you'll wash it down the drain, and the person coming in from White Ribbon, unfortunately, for the interests of the taxpayer, will continue to do that, I'm sure.